So excited to do our very first 10-minute topic here at I Love to Watch You Play. And we have our very first guest, Kirsten Jones from Kirsten Jones, Inc. She's a peak performance sports parenting coach, a former Nike executive, former Division I volleyball player, as well as raising 3 kids in club sports. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Asia. I'm so excited to be here.
And we have a great topic to kick off our 10-minute topics. It is, are youth sports ruining my kids' childhood? I'm going to try to do 10 minutes. A lot to cover in 10 minutes, but let's dive into some of the stuff that concerns me the most when I am feeling like it's overwhelming and too much. Number one is responsibility. I let them off from doing chores. I let them off from doing all sorts of things that I know I had to do and that kids should be doing. And it's all because, well, they're so busy with their sports and they're swamped and this and that. What do you make of that, or what do you think about that problem?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because ultimately we want our kids to be happy, right? And we feel like we're doing them a favor. If we take something off of their plate, it allows them to use that mind space for something else. And I've heard it compared to, well, if your husband needed help, would you do that for him? Yes, but you're not raising him. You're raising a child, and what you are robbing them of is the opportunity to grow with confidence that they are capable. And every time we take away one of those opportunities for them to do the work themselves, we're actually disempowering them. And we think that we're doing them a favor, but actually it's doing the opposite, and it's letting them have less self-esteem till they get to the point where when they're going off to college, they don't know how to do anything by themselves. And now it starts to cause anxiety over, why would I start trying to learn something now? So it's baby steps. I totally hear you on the time piece, like who has time? But it's even just finding little bitty balances where maybe they're not making their breakfasts, but for their sport, this is what they're focused on. Are they getting their water bottle? Are they on top of their schedule? Are they, helping organize the carpool even if they're old enough, or they're driving themselves? What culpability, what empowerment can they take over that, my 17-year-old has 5:30 basketball practice. He gets himself up, he gets himself out the door. Doesn't mean I'm not sitting there in bed wide awake thinking, is he getting up? Because it's our human nature. We want to help them. But I need to teach him that he can do it himself, because in a year and a half, he won't be home and he's got to have to figure out how to do it himself.
Yes, so important. And I hear what you're saying, maybe incorporating some of these tasks around their sports. So it's already a natural sort of implementation of them. I know I just recently got my 12-year-old onto our Shutterfly team account so that she can know when her practices are, know where they are. Another area that is really concerning to me is before they got into club sports, we were very active in our community, very active at our schools, and thankfully their schools do have them do community service work. But I feel as a family and setting an example for them, we're just not doing anything. Every single time I try to set something up in that area, a game is changed. It just never seems to work. And it's really troubling to me. And I don't know how to fit this in either.
Yeah, no, that's also a huge issue, right? And so I guess the question becomes, and this ties into family dinners too, which is family dinners, even if one spouse can't be there, are so critical. And even if it only happens once a week or once every third week, but I tell my kids, half of dinner is about eating the food. The other half is about us coming together as a family and prioritizing what are our big priorities. Does it happen every time? No. But even if once a month you're saying, hey, what do you have going on next month? And each of you go through your schedules like, okay, we got these tournaments or that. And then age accordingly, right? Do you decide, is she 12? Maybe it's okay if she misses one club soccer tournament, right? I know it's painful. I know you may pay some repercussions, but is the trip to Yosemite that you're going to take for that 1 week, those memories you're going to make for a lifetime, worth missing one 12-year-old soccer tournament? And it's those types of balances that are hard, But, ultimately, I tell parents, when you're looking forward 10 years from now, if you were 10 years from now and you want to talk about, oh, wasn't it great when we, I don't remember what I did in July that year, right? I just went from one tournament to the next. But hey, we got that opportunity to go camping on the beach. They're going to remember that. It's going to be a critical memory for them. And that's all we really have to give them, are memories.
I have a 9-year-old who plays club soccer. And we have just, at first we were like, oh, we got to make every single practice, and we just decided she's going to start to hate soccer because she's missing all her friends' birthdays. And so just recently we let her go to a sleepover before a big game. You had mentioned goal setting and seeing what level they're at and working backwards to help maybe parents figure out what is appropriate.
Right. Yeah, so I agree. Same. I have an 11-year-old who wants to be in the school play, but she's playing club volleyball. You're going to be in the school play. It may be a conflict at some point, but I don't want her looking back at, when she said, oh, I really wanted to try acting, but I think I was playing volleyball that time, right? So, but as they get older, my oldest is that his dream, his passion, his hope, as is with many kids, is to play in college. So then you have to start making, to your point, start with the end in mind and start making tougher decisions. So his freshman year, I said, I am not giving up my Christmas vacation. He's going to miss 2 practices and 1 game. We paid the consequences of it. He didn't play for 2 weeks. He did not get on the court for 2 weeks. His confidence started to falter. He was a starter before we went on vacation. When we came back, he wasn't a starter anymore. And you feel like you spend the next 3 months repairing their ego. So now as a junior, we're going on that same Christmas vacation. He'll be there for 24 hours. Not what I want to do as a parent, but I know that his ultimate dream, if he was like, yeah, whatever, I'm on the team, but it's no big deal, I'm letting him direct now because we're getting closer to that goal.
And that's a key point, right? Letting them be in the driver's seat of these choices.
Yes, and getting their buy-in. And it comes from us all deciding as a family, hey, he really wants to do this. This is something he said he's wanted to do for a long time. There will be some sacrifices, but it's also going to mean at another time in the year when it isn't a critical time for him, he's coming on the family vacation and we're going to miss 1 club tournament. And I don't care, right? So it's the give and take of that. For the younger ones, I believe until they're 13, 14, 15, giving up a club soccer tournament or a club volleyball or whatever is a no-brainer.
Let's get to even a bigger point. We're almost out of time here, which is part of me, and I don't know if I'm just making myself feel better about this, but if they're not at all these sports activities, they're always on these devices. And I know people say, oh, just take them away. Well, they have homework on it. They have, okay, that's our timer. We're just going to go a little over. We have homework. They are listening to music because they want to do something. And then one thing leads to another. I feel like it's so stressful for me to be on top of that and almost given the 2 choices, or not to jump to another topic, if they're not on their things, they're out finding trouble. Right. So I don't know. I'm really torn about that. At least they're doing something healthy for their bodies and wonderful skills that come with sports.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when you and I were growing up, it was, run outside, I'll ring the bell when it's time for dinner, right? Or, when it got dark, you came inside, and we don't live in that type of society anymore. So they don't have that luxury of just being able to go play. And on the flip side, this is a blessing and a curse, this device, because it is the keys to their kingdom. At the same time, I see it, particularly my middle one who likes the video games, it really drives his personality. And if he's spending too much time on that, he's getting really agitated. And you end up fighting with them over getting them centered. I don't have the panacea answer, unfortunately. I struggle with the same thing. All I can say is, again, it comes back to they're all old enough that they should be involved in the decision, and understanding that when we're choosing this, we're giving up that.
All right, Kirsten, we are over our 10-minute time. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that everyone got a lot out of that. I know I sure did. So just to sum up some of the resources or thoughts that parents can take from this?
Absolutely. So there's 2 books that come to mind right away. So one is How to Raise an Adult, which was written by the Dean of Admissions from Stanford. It's phenomenal. And she gives a ton of very specific answers to these types of questions as to what you should do in the moment. Second would be The Gift of Failure, which is written by Jessica Leahy, and she's phenomenal. Same thing. How do you cope with when things aren't going the way that you think they should be as a parent? And third would be, I would love, more people join my website, or come onto my website and join my blog. I'm sending out a weekly blog where I'm talking about these types of things. We'll answer questions. Any issues you have, please reach out to me, KirstenJonesInc.com.
All right, one last question. So let's answer it.
Okay.
We'll do it together. Are youth sports ruining our kids' childhood? In 3, 2, 1, no.
No. The same.
Was there a delay? All right, thank you, my friend. We will talk to you very soon.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.